Okay, I had to start back recording again. I started watching what I just recorded, and it's like there's so many things to fill in because there's so many gaps in the same path of understanding. But I have to go back and talk about, can you grow spiritually without a spiritual partner? And for me, I realize you have to have the same purpose, like the same goal. You have to want to get to the same destination, if that makes sense. Um, which I can understand that because the people I live with, we on two different gravitating aspects. Intriguingly, though, it seemed like we would reach the same destination. Compliments of the ultimate sacrifice. Like even the work that I do, what I'm doing now, it get unaccepted anytime you do light in a dark situation. It comes off wicked, wrong, evil. Being moon pride, it comes off evil for some reason, even though it's a true blessing. It's like you get that instant delivery. You know, you pray about something, you seek something, you meditate to be able to receive. But when you actually receive, you get offended. Um, it's one of those forms. But even with me saying that, because it comes off, I am a witch, but I like to say I'm a goddess. But it get unaccepted. But it's an ultimate sacrifice base, if that makes sense. So it's like we are on the same boat, different road, but we're going to reach the same destination. Um, but somehow it seemed not to be an understanding of that. Um, that's why I say there's so many gaps in one, destination. I have to go back to like GPS. It remind me of GPS, honestly. You type a destination in, and it give you all these routes you can go. You would think it'd be only one way you can get there, but there'd be so many different ways you can get to one destination. But I normally complain by that, honestly, for my personal self, because it's like, don't give me to run around, yo. But I feel like if that is the case, it's things you need to learn before you get to that destination. It's like it'd be weird not to learn it. It'll mess up the whole spiritual awakening that you're supposed to receive, if that makes sense. But I am referencing back to GPS. Because some people do get quicker navigation. There's even people, can skip like grades in school. Like they can quickly advance because it's meant for them. They life purpose already putting them ahead to be able to prepare for others, if that makes sense. Which I just spoke about as to somebody else have to be there. Somebody else have to be spiritually awoke to awaken others, if that makes sense. Like if nobody was awoke, then I don't know. That word is an intriguing word. Awoke, because everybody think they awoke. It's intriguing. People think. What's an example I want to use? You can have all the money in the world and still be asleep, and it's just like how it just can. Um, it happens a lot of times. It's even like it's something that got me. It made me even think about this. It was some years ago, maybe like 2 years ago, I believe. It was a whole new year, so maybe like 3 years ago. There was a millionaire who killed himself. And it's like, you would not think a person who had all that would have anything to stress or worry about, you know, for the average person. I know they say more money, more problems, but for me, I really don't feel that way. But the way I live my life is not based the way people live their normal lives. Um, and that's just one thing. That's just one example to even learn from, as into people structure for the way that they want their foundation ain't always gonna be the same. What's another example I can give? I don't know. Everybody always has problems with relationships. Honestly, relationships. I feel like if you got a problem in your relationship, it's from the lack of honesty. honestly playing a real big partner, somewhere where you're not fully able to embrace yourself fully. That cause problems in relationships. Um, what else? Um, I can't think of nothing else at the moment, but those two seem to be the main two things that cause a lot of stress in areas you wouldn't think it would. Like, how can you use the word relationship and you have problems in it? It wouldn't be a relationship, you know. But words get misused all the time. That's another thing. Um, or just having you can have all the wealth and still be stressed. Like, how is that possible? It's just sometimes people, even myself, have to learn build on more than they can handle. Like, it's kind of a greedy aspect. You ever been eating something so good, and you knew you were full, but you just wanted to keep on eating? It's kind of reminding me of that aspect, which leads to stress and anxiety and all those things. Um, that's why I say me. I don't live that type of way. I live a quite simple life. Some people would say, "Oh my God, like you're an old lady or something." I like to think of myself as like a monk or a Buddhist or something of that nature. How I naturally operate. Um, but it's beneficial for me. It's like what works for me, I can share with you because you might get a spark of an idea, or it might just be your breadcrumb to help you, you know. But I say breadcrumb because you get breadcrumbs from everybody. Like you're supposed to learn something from everybody. Um, I feel like I want to go and go. There's so much to freaking talk about. Um, but I normally share what I learn, or I even learn from myself. Like right now, I'm recording this, but I'm mainly doing it for myself so I can go back and learn. Um, it's something like counseling or therapy, so this can be like self counseling or self therapy because this is the same thing that would happen if I was in a counseling session. They would sit there and they would listen to me, and then they would tell me back what I just told them. Like I couldn't hear myself. Like that always gets me. Like that's one of the problems. People don't trust themselves. Like if you just listen to yourself, you can enter yourself. Like and that's just that. But the average person can't because they don't trust themselves. They have to have somebody else's opinion, somebody else's validation, if that makes sense. Even though the main validation gave you the enter, you just have to listen. But everybody needs somebody, so I'm not knocking people who do it because I'm even doing it for myself at the moment. Um, it's just something that I do speak about a lot to be able to help people bloom on their own as to learning yourself. Like I would tell anybody to get a mirror. Look in the mirror a lot, okay? As much as you can. Because I realized people don't like themselves. Like I learned that a lot when this pandemic, the COVID had hit and people had to literally stay home. Um, I thought they would have been geeked. Like for me, that's dreamland. Like I have entered into heaven. I stay home, okay. Stay home, okay. Um, but a lot of people they didn't like it. Like they were irritated. Like they would have rather been anywhere than home, and that's just like one. Why don't you like being at home? Home's supposed to be the best spot ever. It's mainly the people they live with. They don't like the people they actually learn that I don't know you, I don't like you, things of that nature. Um, or what's another one I learned? Just mainly that, honestly. Which I'm kind of living it now because during the pandemic I wasn't living with the people I'm living with now, even though we've been huddled together for a hot minute, intriguingly. I can understand it if I didn't have self control. That's what even got me a domestic violence situation. Um, it's just that whole aspect of being stuck around people who you just that's a word I could use. I don't know a word to use. Cause it's the same, as I said, it's the same freaking boat, but different valleys that lead to the same. It's like, but if I was to tell them that it's no, is totally different. It's like no, it's not. Um, I think in that aspect, even the way I just explained it, it's like it's a not wanting to compromise situation. People not wanting to argue and stuff. You know, you're stuck in that situation, which is gonna lead you to argue, have lots of debates and things of that nature. The average person ain't gonna be like me for the most part and just be calm or laugh or still try to find some type of light in the situation. They're gonna act a fool probably. Um, but that is something I've learned, and it's just intriguing. I feel like I want to talk on the work aspect too. I think I might wait. Like for me, I'm working all the time. Like I'm always working. I tell people all the time. They say, "What are you doing? Handling business?" Because that's what I'm always freaking doing. I feel like if I go get a job in a definition of a form of a way, it'd be because I'm bored. I need something to do. Honestly, that would be the only reason why I would go get something that they call as a job. It's not based off the money aspect, because I can naturally manifest every day. I do it all the freaking time. It'd be because I'm bored. I need something to do. You know, so that's the difference that I have realized and with other people. You know, even having to stop working and being at home, they wanted something to do. They felt like they had nothing to do, so it's like, why not just go there, you know? And luckily we would get a bonus, you know. But for me, it's not the money aspect. It's I don't have nothing to do, so it just helps me see a bigger picture, honestly, in that aspect. Um, I'm far from a lazy person, honestly. Some people might say that because, luckily me, I have a career, a life purpose that I don't have to do too much. I'm doing a lot. Honestly, I do a whole bunch. Trust me. You'll be like, oh my Jesus, why are you always working? There's always something to translate. The air is always blowing. Okay, eternal never stops. That is it's the best career ever. There's always something new to learn, something to do. But that's the thing. The people I'm around right now, they don't understand that they want me to be a slave out here. Like, how dare you not have to work as hard as us? And it's like I do. I work harder than you, honestly, but this ain't a competition. Um, and that's just one of the different understandings to the same situation, if that makes sense. Um, I think I'm about to get back to Oprah, and then I'll get back chatty if I get sparked by something that I feel is important to speak on. There's just so many things to speak about. It'd be so intriguing. Sometimes it's like I have the answers, but how can I explain it? I have the answers, but it's just so many topics. It's like which one should I hit at the moment? That's what I was saying. I kind of totally forgot what I was saying. Not I don't know if I was doing it in this recording, but I was talking about the beginning of the year, how I recognized it, and then I totally didn't even realize the beginning of the year when it comes to Black Lives Matter. Every year, I do believe it's gonna come a time where it's a thing called Black Lives Matter. And they consider black life apparently this color, but I'm referencing to the ones that's of a darker shade. Like they have a shade, they not like real bright like this, like almost hidden white, because that's white, but I don't know nobody of that color either, but there may be some ones out there that's some survivors. Um, but just people of shades, of colors, their time come across, but they only focus mainly on black lives. It's a time that comes around, it's called Black Lives Matter. It's tied up to something that I totally freaking forgot about, honestly. And I didn't even know about, honestly, until somebody told me that the creator of that was people of the same sex. And it's just like, that's so intriguing. Definitely right now for me, because I'm in that situation at the moment. So it's like, it's so intriguing how all that plays a part together. You know, um, how do it play a part together? How don't it play a part together? It's just a unacceptance aspect, but it's being true to yourself, honestly. Um, Black Lives Matter, to me, what I think of, I keep feeling weird saying Black Lives Matter. It's not in a, see, it kind of sounds interesting because it makes me come off like racist or something, because, you know, that's something they'd probably say, like, how dare my light lips say this intriguing words. But seriously, because I don't, there's nobody really of that color. That must, maybe that's the thing. It's a real small breed of these people, okay? That's the only way I could think of it. That's why their lives matter. You know, they are really important aspects. Um, Everybody is, but I'm being kind of fundamentally sarcastic because apparently my life wouldn't matter because I am not black, okay? I am a, a light shade, a light medium-ish shade. I can be really light or I can be a dark shade. That's a real true statement. Um, but I have a hard time in that aspect saying that out of my mouth because it don't feel like a true statement. But what do it mean to me? Oh, it don't feel like a true statement because I keep saying I don't know too many people that's really that shade called black. I do know people of dark color shades, but as I said before, fundamentally, apparently my life wouldn't matter because I am not black, okay? Unless I've been tricked what the color black mean. But I was told black is like the color of my shirt, or the color of the smoke control, or the color of the pavement on the road. You know, not the yellow lines or the white lines, but the dark color, the cement color, charcoal color that you use on the grill if you got one of those ones. You're kind of an original person, not one of them advanced ones got the little electric stuff. But um, what does that mean to me that their lives matter? It reminds me of native aspect, honestly, a natural spiritual base. Um, that's just what I think of, honestly, when I think of it, because that's what I can do. Um, but I guess that's a good question to ask. What does Black Lives mean to you? What do all shades mean to you? What do all shades matter mean to you? But when I use it in that aspect, you have to go back to that small group. The way I just explained it, um, everybody can get there, but everybody just not original of it, if that makes sense. Um, I have to go. The way I'm speaking is coming off in the form of my whole outfit, honestly. Um, and Pilgrims in Indian understanding, or it has to be in slavery and master understanding. Like when I say master, I'm referring to a light shade, and when I say slavery, I'm referring to a dark shade. When I say pilgrims, I'm talking about a light shade. When I say Indians, I'm referring to a dark shade. It's taken me in that aspect. But all of their lives matter. That's what I'm getting at. It's like a all together. but there is a separation because of things that has happened. But it's like you can learn from that and move forward. You know, if that makes sense. You don't get stuck in it, but somehow we get stuck in it. That's why I'm recently learning to watch slavery movies. I never was a fan of watching slavery movies. Honestly, it didn't make sense to go backwards. It's like it make you become a racist. It make you be upset with the next person because it's like the proof is right here, yo. Like intriguing, but what did that is me being sexually active with energy, and that's the energy they have. They have very racist energy. Um, well, he do. I would say he has very racist energy, whether he know it or not. Which I think is funny because I recognized on him. He got three textures of hair. It's so intriguing. His face, he got like what people would say dark people texture hair, and then the top of his hair, he got like mixture hair, and then in the back of his hair, it's like light people hair, like pale people, white people hair, if that makes sense. Um, and for me, I feel like he operate off his facial hair. I would have never thought that just from the way he looked. I would thought he would worked off the back texture of his hair, which is white people hair, but it's totally not. It's like we're the opposite when it comes to that, because he probably would think my behavior would be like his behavior, but I'm the opposite. It's like he probably think I operate like a white person, honestly. Like what the intriguingness, but I feel like I operate like a foreigner, honestly. I would tell anybody that. I always say that. People always tell me I act white or I'm an Oreo, but it's like, I don't think I do, honestly. If anything, I'd be amazed with the things that white people do, honestly. And not in a so good way. It's just like, Jesus Christ. Only because the way I grew up, honestly. It's funny, you know, you grow up and you see certain things that happen in your childhood play out in your real life. It was one of those aspects, I would say. Like I had a best friend, which she kind of was my only best friend. I had two friends growing up, and one was a black girl and one was a white girl. But the white girl was mainly my best friend, I would say. The things that she was allowed to do was intriguing, absolutely intriguing. Like she could have, we were still in school. I think we was like in middle school, and she can have boys come over, and they just be chilling in the room and everything. And I'm just like, oh my god. You hear stories like that, and you be like, where was your daddy at? Was the parents even home? Yes, they were home, chilling in the living room. And it's just like, I thought all that was interesting. Some things you just don't believe. But then I grew up in the same thing. I lived the same thing out. What I didn't understand, I lived it out with my ex Donald. Like, I was able to stay at his parents for a long time, and nobody ever said nothing to me. It was like normal. We down in the basement having a good old living situation while they upstairs. Like it's nothing. Like I never understood that concept. I still don't. I'm a little better at it. I kind of treat my son that way, honestly. I let my son do a whole lot of things. Um, and for me, I feel like it's different, but it's the same at the same time. And I only say it's different because he's a guy. I feel like I don't want no limit to what he can be able to do and can't, which it kind of sucks already because people already got to him and his like levels where he can't do certain things. But it's like there should be nothing that he can't do. Like, I'm not saying it shouldn't be the same for females, but we got a little avenue of a curve how we got to do ours. And it's fair because we came from a guy. There should be nothing that a guy can't do. Even though there's a lot of things that they say guys can't do. Like, it's intriguing to me. Um, so with me saying that, it's interesting. Life be interesting how it goes sometime. But what was I just thinking about? My best friend, growing up with her, white people. I think I explained it all the way I needed to. I take friendships really seriously. They're like, you only had two friends. How old are you? Yeah, good enough ones to call friends. Yeah, only had two of those. Um, I just take them really personally. Um, and it mainly starts with honesty. Honesty is very, very important. Definitely right from the jump. Like if you lie to me right from the jump, it's a waste of time. Like you already sent me down the street for no doggone reason. Um, and it's mainly that. It's like if you can't be honest from the jump, it's a delay. You delaying us when we shouldn't be delayed. It's a slowdown for no reason. Um, which you normally will have to backtrack anyway, just because somewhere it wasn't honest, if that makes sense. Um, it's a few reasons I can think about. I feel like I want to do like a video just talking about me, how I operate. I guess I can do it now, but the video's already 26 minutes, but it's okay. Um, I don't always like to be touched. It's something like a cat, honestly. Um, Cats don't always want to be touched. They have their moments where they want to be very, very affectionate, and then the next moment is just like, back off. You see, I'm working or I'm doing something. I'm cleaning. Like, what are you doing? Like, um, I don't mind sitting around people and not talking. I think it's quite awesome because I can still feel their energy. So it's like it's not a big deal to talk, but people always feel like if we're around each other, we should be talking. It's weird to me. Um, just things of that nature, simple things like that, cause people to think I'm bipolar. Because one day I might be real talkative, and then the next day, I'm doing my own thug dizzle. But it's like that don't make me bipolar. It's, life goes on. I have a lot of functions to me. I'm not a puppet where you always gonna get just this channel of me. I am supposed to evolve. But people seem not to understand that. So, I wouldn't call it a friendship. If I deal with people, I would say, I don't know. The word associates, I don't have associates either, really. Um, I am my own associate. My phone is my associate. The mirror is my associate. Eternal life is my associate. Everything else is like waiting room understandings. Waiting rooms is life, honestly. Some people back in the back being handled, some just waiting, some leaving out. It's just like life. Like it's like birthing. Somebody's giving birth, somebody's leaving out. It's like that same aspect. That's why I like the art of flow. I tell you no lie. Like don't force nothing, just let things be. They will play out the way they need to. Like seasons, you can't control the doggone seasons. You can wish summer stayed around longer or winter stayed around longer, but it's gonna come and it's gonna go. You can't control it. And that's just the way I live my life, and people normally think I'm crazy for that. Even with how I was saying how I deal with my son, I let that dude do a whole lot of intriguing things just because I don't want a limit to what he's aware to. Because I've learned that guys don't know everything. I would have never known that. Like, I was a person who thought guys knew everything. They don't know nothing if they're not exposed to it. If they ain't learned that lesson, they just don't know. Just like you. Like, I'm a female. If I ain't learned a lesson to something, how I'm gonna know it? So it's one of those concepts how I operate with him, but even with that, it's interference. It's like, the only way I can explain it is if you know me and then you see my son, you would be like, I see y'all have not been around each other. Like, we operate different. And it's just because of that aspect. Um, But for me, I learned to embrace that aspect a little bit more. It reminded me of my childhood a little bit, dealing with my other friend, the one that was a darker color shade. Um, my mom never liked me hanging out with her. She always was saying, "Why do you hang out with her?" And it's just like, I don't know. Honestly, I really didn't. It's just somebody who I hung out with. I really can't give you a reason as into why. I just did. We just naturally gravitated to each other. Um, but I feel the same way with my son. Like, there's gonna be people that he deal with that I'm just gonna be like, dude, like, what are you doing? You know, but it's naturally gonna be that. It's like I'm learning it earlier than what I thought I would. Honestly, I thought that'd be a later on in life understanding, but I'm actually learning that, and it's intriguing. And dealing with that just because he's so young, but still wanting him to have his freedom at the same time, because he's not seeing the bigger picture that I'm already seeing. I'm already experienced, because I've seen it, so I already experienced it. Um, that's just one of them lessons you live and learn, I'm guessing. Yeah, you live and you learn, and if you don't learn, what happens if you don't learn? You're gonna keep circling yourself until you do. It's kind of intriguing to say that because I feel like I've been circling this situation that I've been trying to get out of for a long freaking time. People probably thinking I'm crazy, even the person that I stay with. But it's like, even how I just said during Sit about how at the beginning of the year it's a time that comes around where it's a thing called Black Lives Matter. I have to circle back because I realized, oh my God, same sex time come at that time too. You're living in that situation, right? That's one of your big problems, right? So it's like I'm circling for a reason. It's a reason why I keep circling this situation. But it comes back to the lack of awareness also. Even how I didn't even know that those were connected together. So you live and you learn. And if you don't, you're gonna keep circling.